Welcome to the first video in a while from WindowsLearningZone.com. My name is Richard Ross, your instructor. I haven't released a Windows video in I don't know how long. Yes, I do know how long. I just looked on my YouTube channel, and it's 2013 was the last time I released a Windows 8 video. So it's been a while. I've been spending most of my time over the last few years with Microsoft Access and Excel, and I haven't gotten back to Windows, Word, PowerPoint, all that stuff. Well, today I had to unbox a brand new laptop because I need it for some videos I'm going to be recording. And I figured this is the perfect opportunity for me to record a video from start to finish of me unboxing the computer, setting it up, configuring Windows just the way I like it so you can see the things that I do, the apps I like to set up. Because usually when I start my Windows class, my beginner level 1 class, I assume that Windows is already installed and set up for the user. So I've never done a video like this before. So here we go. Just so you got an idea of what I'll be covering, we'll go through the full Windows setup. Now Windows is always pre-installed when you get a new computer nowadays. So Windows is already on the machine. We just have to go through the setup and the configuration questions. We'll take a look at Microsoft Edge, their new web browser, and we'll see how to configure that. Now, personally, I'm a Google Chrome guy. I love Microsoft, but I've always used Google Chrome ever since it came out. So I'm going to show you how to download and install Chrome. We're going to talk about this new S mode in Windows 10. It's a security mode. Basically, they don't let you download and install any other apps that weren't pre-approved by Microsoft in their Microsoft Store. Of course, if you want to download and install anything else, then you have to exit S mode. So we'll talk about that. I like to set up Chrome Remote Desktop so I can connect to my desktop computer anywhere I happen to be. So if I'm traveling or if I'm out of the office, all I have to do is with a couple of clicks, I can connect right in, and it's just like I'm sitting at that computer. So Remote Desktop is one of my favorite apps. I'll show you how to clean up the taskbar so we can get rid of all the stuff we don't want. We'll rename the computer because it comes pre-configured from the factory with some weird name. Then I'm going to show you how to uninstall Microsoft Office because it comes with a trial version, and I find it's better just to wipe it out and install a fresh copy. So we'll install my fresh copy of Microsoft 365. Then I'm going to install Google Drive and the Backup and Sync tool. What that does is it lets you have a folder on your hard drive that automatically syncs up to your Google Drive. So any files you save, any documents, whatever, even if you're offline, as soon as you connect to the internet, they'll sync back up. I love that tool. It's a great backup tool. Then we'll talk about some Windows Update and some Windows security stuff. So sit back, relax, and enjoy me talking for the next hour and showing you all the things that I like to set up when I set up a new Windows computer. So I picked up a basic Lenovo IdeaPad 3, which is a simple, I think I paid $300 for it on Amazon. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, nothing high frills. I just need it for basic Microsoft Office, mostly Access design, a little Excel, a little Word, of course, web browsing. In today's market, if that's all you need is business type stuff, you can get away $300, $350, and you're good for a laptop. I prefer laptops. I've been using Lenovo laptops almost exclusively for the past 5 or 6 years. I love them. The one on my desk is a lot more powerful, obviously, but this one is good for just remote use. And of course, the whole reason why I got it was because I need to run Microsoft Office 64-bit. Long story, I'll tell you about it later. Now, I've been teaching Windows for a long time. In fact, I've got Windows Vista, Windows 8. I haven't updated my Windows classes for Windows 10 yet, so that's coming. That's going to be very soon. But in all the years I've been teaching, I've never done a basic like unboxing a brand new PC, how to set it up, what options should you pick, what should you do, that kind of stuff. So this is basically me setting up a new computer, what I like to set it up with, how to set up Office, how to set up Google Backup, that kind of stuff. Now, the first few minutes here, while I'm setting up Windows, you're going to just see still shots taken from my phone of the laptop screen. Yeah, I could hook up the monitor to an external screen and record the video off of that. We don't need to go into that much detail. This is all pretty simple, straightforward stuff. Once I actually got Windows installed, I'm going to set up Remote Desktop, connect to it. I'm going to show you how to do it too. And that way I can control it from the computer that I do my recording from normally, and then I can just record the screens. So you'll see how that works too. Most of setting up a new PC is just answering some simple questions. And it's not like the old days where you really had to know your stuff to set up a new computer. Now it's pretty much just here's a few simple questions, pick some preferences, and we're good to go. First thing they ask is to set up your region. Right, I'm in the United States. And one nice thing that I like, they got Cortana, which is their digital assistant, kind of like Siri or Alexa or any of those. And you can speak yes during the setup process. So that was kind of nice. Make sure you've got the right keyboard layout. Mine's US. If you're in the UK or somewhere else, pick yours. You can add a second keyboard layout if you'd like to. I'm not going to. I'll hit skip. Right away, they want to get you on the internet. So if you have Wi-Fi, let's connect to the network now. If you don't have internet, well, that's a whole separate class, okay? You can set up a local account on your PC so you don't have to be connected to the internet, but nowadays pretty much everyone is. So I will be doing a separate lesson in the future for people who don't have the internet and want to set up their PCs for local access only. But pick your Wi-Fi network. If you see it there, hit connect. Type in your password if you have one, or you can go push that fancy button on the router for automatic connection. Personally, I'm old school. I like to use the password, but whatever works for you. And now go get some coffee, run a few laps around the block, read a few chapters of The Hobbit. All right, whatever you want to do, go entertain yourself. I actually got a kick out of this one myself. When the Windows 10 license agreement came up, it said, next up the legal stuff. In short, you'll need to select accept to use Windows. You can decline, but then, no Windows. That actually, I'm usually the one. I'm usually the one with the comedy in my tutorial videos, and so I was quite happy when that made me chuckle. But yeah, read this over. It's nothing crazy. I'm sure if there was something crazy in there, then someone would have said something. But it's all basic stuff. It's the same basic text that's been in every software agreement since the beginning of time. Okay, next. You sign in. Once you're on the internet, you sign in with your Microsoft account. Now, I've got several different Microsoft accounts, which actually kind of confuses me sometimes. I've got the one I use to log into my computers with. Then I've got my separate one with my Microsoft 365, my Office subscription. So that's different. You'll see that later when I install Office. So I use amacron@gmail.com, my normal main address, my email address, to log into Windows. But then I got a separate one for installing Office. So I should merge them, but I've been too lazy. Now, if you don't have a Microsoft account yet, you can create an account. That's a different video. I'm not going to cover that right now, I assume. All you got to do is go to their website. In fact, I believe I show it in one of my other videos, like the How to Get Excel Free, where you go to office.com and just set up a Microsoft account. It takes 2 minutes. It's real simple. Enter your password. And yeah, the screens are a little bent like that because I was using my phone to take a picture of the screen, but I couldn't take it straight on to make it perfectly straight, because then I'd get glare from the window and from the lights. And I'm not setting up a photo studio for this. This is just a simple informal video for you guys. Okay? Some of my other stuff's more formal. This is not. All right, you can set up a PIN so that you can get onto your computer without having to remember a long password. You can set up a 4-digit PIN, for example. If you're working at a home or in an office where you trust everybody, yeah, the PIN's fine. Okay? You can change this in the security settings. You can put on a more secure password. I'm not going to cover that right now, but just go ahead and give it a 4-digit PIN. If you want to add letters and numbers, you can. Okay? Now, these are different privacy settings that come up next. You can turn them off. You don't have to agree to these ones. All right? I don't really have a problem with any of them, but go ahead and read these over, and if you want to turn any of them off, you can. All right? Online speech recognition, what this means is instead of putting all the code in Windows in your computer to process speech, what they do is they just simply record a little audio clip, quickly transmit it up to their servers, process it, because they got the multi-million-dollar mega computers that can do all that processing really fast, and then send back what the text is to your computer. Okay, so that makes speech recognition a lot better. Like all the big players, Google, Apple, they all do the same thing. All right, so yeah, Microsoft sends your speech. If you don't want your speech clip being transmitted, then turn that off. All right, Find My Device means that you can use Windows to locate your device. It's good for, I've lost my phone a few times. This just sends anonymous typing data to them to analyze. It basically is to improve the language recognition and suggestion capabilities of apps. All right, location. This lets the computer know where you are for things like directions, weather. Okay, it improves your location services. If you're paranoid about them knowing where you're at, you don't want that microchip from Bill Gates in your cereal box. I don't know, whatever. All right. Diagnostic data about your software, about your machine. All right. Then tailored experiences. This is where you get personalized ads and tips and stuff like that based on, like, when you web browse, they track where you go. Of course, they can, any server you go through can see what you're doing. Okay, and they'll give you, if you search for flowers, then you'll start seeing ads for flowers. Everyone's like, oh, that's so creepy. Personally, I kind of like it because if you turn that off, you just see random generic ads. I could see stuff that is absolutely in no way of interest to me. Okay, I could see random ads for purchasing green school buses. All right, but this way with targeted ads, at least I'm being shown things that I'm kind of interested in. All right, Star Trek and stuff like that. I'll see ads for that kind of stuff. Okay, so I don't mind personalized ads. All right, next is customized device. If you tell Windows how you're planning on using this machine, it'll set things up slightly differently and give you some other apps and some other options based on your usage, how you play. Like, it's different if you're working, with games, if you're playing games versus if you're at a business computer or entertainment, that kind of stuff. I'm going to skip this for now. I'm going to click skip on the bottom. All right, I just want a plain Jane regular Windows install because all this stuff's already in the computer. It just gets set up slightly differently. Do you want your activity history to be tracked across devices? In other words, the things that you do, all right, your activity history, pages you browse, that kind of stuff, that all gets stored in your online account, and you'll see that kind of stuff if you go to a different machine. Like, I got these 3 machines in my office here. If I browse for stuff on one, like even with Google, all right, they're all linked via my account. So I'll start seeing stuff in my browser history on the other machine that I visited on the second one, for example. So if you don't want that, then say no. But again, this isn't a big deal. I say yes to this one. This next one is an option if you have an Android phone or even an iPhone. You can sync up your text, your notifications, and stuff between your PC and your phone. Yeah, this is kind of handy, but I have an Android, and the Google stuff that I use does most of this for me anyways. And I really don't feel like setting this up now. So I'm just going to click on do it later. Okay, next comes OneDrive. Now, OneDrive is Microsoft's cloud storage. Everyone gets some space for free with your Microsoft account. Personally, I use Google Drive. Now, I love Microsoft. I love them to death. I've been using Microsoft since day one. But Google Drive has been around a little longer, and I started using that first. And so that just kind of, all my stuff was there. So when OneDrive came out, I'm like, I already got Google Drive. But now this is all integrated with Office, so sometimes I use both. But I pretty much stick to Google Drive. Yeah, I know. I'm a Microsoft guy. I love Excel. I love Word. Access, of course, is my life. But I still use Google Drive for stuff like that. So I'm going to click on Only Save Files to this PC down here. If you use OneDrive, go ahead and hit Next and set up your OneDrive account. All right, and sync it up. All right, next is Microsoft 365, which used to be called Office 365. It's their subscription-based version of Microsoft Office. All right, it's $99 a year, which is cheap. Okay, you don't have to buy the retail versions where you got to lay out $200 to $300 every couple of years. Microsoft wants you to be on a subscription. I think it's a good idea too, especially if you're in business. Okay, now if you're just using this stuff at home, first of all, there's a free version of Word online. There's a free version of Excel online. Okay, you can use those without buying Microsoft Office. But if you're a business or a business owner like I am, and you're using Microsoft Office, get the subscription. All right, don't buy don't have to go through setting up a new version of Excel every time Office 2013 comes out, then 2016 comes out, 2019 comes out. Just get the subscription. They constantly are making little updates. They push them to you. Okay, your software is always up to date, always bug free. Well, usually bug free. Okay, I usually wait a little while once those updates come out. It says, hey, there's an update you want to install. I usually say no. I usually wait like a couple of days at least, so someone else finds the major problems. But that's how it is with any software. You can install a patch for Microsoft Office, 2013 on your old machine, and it used to have bugs too. Now, if you don't have Microsoft 365 yet, you can go ahead and set up a free trial. What is it, a month? I think they give you a month. Okay, and then you can pay for it after that if you don't like it. It's already installed on most Windows PCs, like this one. I'm going to have to actually uninstall it because I have a Microsoft 365 account. I'm going to install the software from the website. I don't want the free trial stuff that's on the hard drive already. We'll cover that in a little bit. For now, I'm going to say no thanks. Okay, next up is Cortana, which is Microsoft's version of Siri, Alexa, whatever the other ones are. And it does the same stuff. It's a virtual voice assistant. Okay, you can do some setup and set up some personal stuff, and it'll work better with your contacts and your voice input and your handwriting patterns and all that stuff. Yeah, that's great. Spend some time and do it if you really want to. I'm not going to do it right now. I just want to get to Windows, so I'm going to click on Not Now. Again, I'm going to cover all this stuff in my future Windows classes. Today's job is a quick setup. This next bit of information goes to your device manufacturer, in my case, Lenovo. Okay? It's basically like registering your equipment. All right, it's never a bad idea. Okay, now we go make that second cup of coffee. And, of course, go to the little boy's room and get rid of the first cup of coffee. And Windows is doing some stuff. Yeah, it might take several minutes, depending on the speed of your computer. Don't turn off your PC. Long story short, I had a customer once that was in the middle of going through a Windows setup like this, and power went out. And it was a desktop PC, not a laptop, so the power went off, and that drive was messed up. I had to completely reformat it and reinstall Windows. So don't turn the PC off during this. Okay, next up is Microsoft Edge. Now, if you've been using Windows for any time, you're probably familiar with Internet Explorer. That's their old school browser. It's been around for decades, right? Microsoft Edge is their new one, completely rebuilt from the ground up. It's fast. It's pretty. I like it. I really do. I like it. It's a great browser. Problem is I'm already kind of entrenched with Google Chrome. That's been my browser now for about, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 10 years. Back when Internet Explorer was like, you know, the funny kid on the in the playground that everyone made fun of. Google Chrome was the hip new thing. Now Google Chrome's like, you know, the big installed base. Everyone uses it. I've got it all customized and configured. But I do use Edge too. Like I use Chrome for myself most of the time, but I'll use Edge like when I'm working on my website. If I want to see what another user will see, I'll open it up as like someone who's not logged on, for example. And it's fast. It's great. I love Edge. And I've been spending my time kind of between the two of them. But I do still personally like to use Chrome as my default browser of choice. Next, it just wants you to set up how you want Edge to look. There's inspirational, informational, and focused. I think I went with focused. Yeah, focused is a very simple, white, almost Google-looking type setup for the browser. Next, it says your favorites, passwords, and history are going to be saved on your account instead of just this device. We talked about this before. So if you're using Edge on multiple machines, you'll have all the same stuff: your passwords, your history, your favorites bar, all that stuff. Same thing again. Make Microsoft experiences more useful. It's basically so they can send you targeted advertising. Yeah, okay, fine. I'd rather see ads for things that I'm kind of interested in than stuff that I have no interest in whatsoever. And there you go. There's the Edge welcome screen. Close that down, and I'm finally in Windows and at the Windows desktop. Okay. After, do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? How about this? How about some of this? You want some of that? Okay, next up, I'm going to install Google Chrome. That's my browser of choice, and it's got a bunch of tools that I like to use. So go to google.com/Chrome, and then hit Download Chrome. You'll see this appear in the bottom left corner, Chrome Setup.exe. Click on Open File. Once you do this, you'll see this warning pop up that says, for security and performance, Windows 10 in S mode runs Microsoft verified apps. Okay? What is S mode? S mode is basically a safety mode that only allows apps that Microsoft has deemed are safe and secure to be installed from the Microsoft Store. All right, like their App Store. Okay? If you want to run anything that's not verified, you have to switch out of S mode. Once you do that, you can't go back into S mode. That is how organizations can keep their users safe. They don't have to worry about them getting viruses, usually. And they can also prevent people from taking computers home, getting junk on them, bringing them back into the office, and then now that spreads around the network. So once you switch out of S mode and install a non-Microsoft, non-verified app, you can't go back into it. All right? But if you're like me and you know a little bit about computers, if you're one of my Access students, for example, then yeah, don't worry about it. But just if you're on a work computer, check with them first before you turn S mode off. Because once it's off, that's it. You have to reinstall Windows to get it back. Okay? I don't use it myself. I don't need it. So I'm going to click on switch out of S mode. They'll warn you again. Hey, you sure you want to switch out of S mode? You might want to think twice about it. All right, yeah, double check, make sure. All right. Click get. Get's kind of a confusing button. I don't know why they said get. It should just be okay. Get, I guess, means get the app that you're trying to get. That's weird. It's a weird prompt. Then you'll see, okay, you're all set. You've switched out of S mode and can now install apps from outside the store. Thanks. You mean I can put what I really want on my computer without having to go through you? Oh, perfect. Beautiful. Thanks. Now that we're out of S mode, Lenovo is recommending that I install McAfee LiveSafe. No. Do not. Click on Do Not Install Protection and don't ask again. Okay, you don't need it. Why? Windows comes with Windows Defender. It's basic, but it's simple and it's all you need. As long as you're not downloading junk from other websites and running programs and installing stuff that you don't know what it is, all right? Windows is pretty good now at protecting you from viruses without bloatware, they call it, bloated extra software like McAfee. Okay? I think Symantec used to make one a few years ago. I hate all those third-party antivirus software apps. Don't install them. They're junk. You don't need them. This part was a little confusing because it's been a few years since I've installed Chrome on a Windows 10 machine. Well, I shouldn't say a few years. It's been a while. But even on their thing, it says, okay, open the store. You got to switch out of S mode. All right, click the Get button and install the switch out of S mode. I guess that's a separate app. I'm not exactly sure how they do that. Then you got to run the installer. All right, so the easiest thing to do is just download Chrome again. It's going to install. It's a teeny tiny little installer file. Just hit download Chrome again. There, now you'll see it down there, right? Chrome Setup 1 this time. Just open that up. Now you'll be able to run it because you're not in S mode. Okay, now as soon as you click on that, this little guy pops up, the user account control, Windows security basically, okay? And it's saying, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? It's going to install some software. Yeah, be careful. Make sure that you understand that this is going to install software. So if you see this and you're not expecting it, like if you click on something when you're browsing and this pops up, don't say yes. All right, this is the Google Update software, so we know it's good, from Google LLC. All right, I trust them. All right, so you can click on yes for this. Okay, it doesn't take too long to download. Then it'll verify the installer. I think the installing portion of it took longer than the download. Okay, then Chrome starts up. You got welcome to Chrome. All right. Set up the browser in a few simple steps. Make Chrome your own. Now, if you have a Google account already, which if you found my videos, you probably found me on YouTube, which means you probably have a Google account. I'm betting most of you do. So go ahead and sign in with your Google account. You can hit the already a Chrome user sign in. If not, hit get started. You can set up an account. I'm going to sign into my existing account. You've probably seen this thing a million times if you are a Google user, right? Sign in using your Google account, email address, then of course your password. You're not getting my password. Use your password. Don't remember your password? Don't ask me. I don't know your password. You click on a forget password thingy down there. I don't know what your password is. Now, if you are an Android user like me, as soon as you try to log on an unrecognized device with your Google account, this will pop up on your phone. I screenshot this off my phone, my Android phone. It says, is this you trying to sign in? Okay. Say yes or no, of course. This is if you have two-factor authentication on, which I think is the default now. Okay, and I strongly recommend it. This prevents someone from trying to guess your password because you have to have your phone in order to sign in on a device that you haven't previously allowed people to sign in on. Okay? If you don't know what two-factor authentication is, if enough of you want to see it, let me know. Post a comment, and I'll make a video. That's the screen that pops up on the laptop while it's waiting for your phone. Right? It popped it up on both my phone and my tablet, waiting for me to click yes on one of those. Okay? Next, it's asking if you want to turn sync on. Same thing as with Edge, where it saves your passwords and your history and your bookmarks and all that stuff. Yeah. Just hit yes, I'm in. And finally, there we go. There's Chrome with the standard Google homepage. All right, notice there's my bookmarks bar that I've got customized. That's on all of my machines, including my phone, my tablet, my 3 laptops that I've got all pop up the same list of bookmarks here that I can keep. Okay, So that's how you install Chrome. Pretty straightforward. Now, pretty soon, Google Chrome is going to pop this guy up in your toolbars across the top there, right? Chrome isn't your default browser. Okay, that's the browser wars, right? Edge wants to be the default. Chrome wants to be the default. Pick which one you want to use, and then there you go, right? Set as default. I like to use Chrome as my default. I'll still use Edge from time to time, though. Next, we're installing Chrome Remote Desktop. Now, I use this so that I can screen share in my office so I can record videos from my lessons like this on a different computer that might have a different setup, different software. Okay, part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I need to get access 64-bit. In my office computers, I still use 32-bit for lots of reasons. I'll talk about it later. But you can also use this to give help to someone, right? You can share your screen so that if someone else is having problems and they're in a different state or country, right, you could say, okay, go to Remote Desktop, share your screen, right? I mean, there's lots of software out there now that does this. Skype does it. There's a bunch of other. This just happens to be the one that I prefer, okay? So I'm going to come down here and click on Share My Screen. Once I get this installed, I won't have to be in PowerPoint slides with these little pictures from my phone anymore. All right, so share the screen to let someone else access and control this computer. Click on the download button right there. That's the download button. Give that guy a click. This is actually installed as an extension to Chrome. That's why it says Add to Chrome. It's not a separate program. It's like a plug-in for the browser. So click on Add to Chrome. All right, you're basically getting another Are You Sure window. Right, click Add Extension. More terms of service, privacy policies, blah, blah, blah. Accept and install. All right, open download. Allow Chrome Remote Desktop to open this file. Yeah, sure, say yes. User account control pops up one more time. Okay, make sure the verified publisher is Google LLC. Yeah, there's lots of prompts, but I think I'd rather have to say yes more times than have too few prompts and get stuff installed that we don't want. So deal with it. Okay, once it's installed, you'll see a share this screen option. All right, there's a couple of different ways you can configure this. I'm just going to show you the simple way, which is sharing the screen with a code. Okay, you can set it up so you can actually access the computer, like leave it set up at the office so when you go home you can log on from your home workstation. That's a whole different ball game. If enough people want to see that, let me know. I'll set up a separate video on that one. This is just a simple screen sharing where you're like right next to the other machine, or you can tell the person on the phone, hey, type in this code. All right, so click Generate Code. All right, or if you're walking someone else through how to do this, if you're trying to help mom, right, have her do these steps and then say, okay, give me that code. It expires in 5 minutes, so you got to type it in relatively fast. All right, type that code in on your side. You're going to run the same setup on your side, but instead of sharing your screen, you're going to go connect to someone else's machine. Type in the code they give you, and then you'll connect. This is the prompt you get on the other computer, the one you're trying to connect from. Okay? You type in the code that the other person gives you. Now, once you connect, the other person on the receiving computer will get this message saying that you're trying to connect to them. They have to hit share for it to work. Okay? I usually have to call on the phone and have my puppy do it. He'll go up there and hit the enter key. Okay? Okay, now that I'm actually connected through the Chrome Remote Desktop, I get this little guy here that says your desktop is currently shared. And now I'm on my actual other PC that I do my recording on, and I'm connected to that remote laptop over my network, which is actually going over the internet. And I get this little guy. This is kind of annoying here, this little dude, so I'm just going to just slide it off to the side here so we don't have to look at it. But it's over there. Okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is clean up my taskbar down here in the bottom. There's some stuff down here that I almost never use, and it's a waste of space to have it sitting here. For example, this guy, the Microsoft Store. I almost never use it. Right-click, unpin from taskbar. I didn't uninstall it. It's still there. It's still on the computer. I just don't want to look at it down there on the bottom. All right, this is all the stuff that I want to use on a regular basis or that is currently running. All right, mail. I don't like to use this, so goodbye. We're going to use Outlook or Gmail. All right, this Lenovo thing, nope, see ya. Okay, this is Alexa. I do use Alexa in my house, and she just lit up when I said that now. That's kind of creepy, but but I'm going to take it off of here. This thing, no, goodbye. Meerkat, see ya. Office we're going to use. We're going to install Office for sure. In fact, that's one of the reasons I bought this new laptop was because I'm running Office 32-bit in my Office. And that's been the Microsoft recommendation for the longest time. Only people with really high-end needs need 64-bit. But now, recently, it's 2021, the default install now for Microsoft Office comes in 64-bit. So I'm going to have to set it up on this machine because I'm not switching over all my stuff just yet. I got a huge, gigantic database that runs my business. It's in 32-bit access. I know it's going to take me a while to convert it over. Okay, the next thing I want to do is rename this computer. It's got some weird name right now. So let's go to the Start button. And you can search for any setting that you want. Just go to Settings. All right, find a setting. I'll just type in, I want to change the computer's name, right? So I just type in Name. All right, view your PC name. There it is, right? You don't have to remember, like in the old days, you had to remember, okay, this was under this menu, under that, da-da-da. Now you just search for whatever you want to search for. All right, this guy's name right now is Laptop HP31K. No, I don't know. Right now, I got two other machines on my network right now. I got server and workstation. I've been those two machines have been good for forever. Usually, I like to use Star Trek names if I have more than that. Like I'll use Kirk, Picard, Spock, whatever. And I haven't done this in a couple of years now because I've only had those two machines forever. But let's rename this PC right here. Rename. Okay, you can use a combination of letters. Let's call this guy Spock. It's been a while since I've had a Spock. Click. Okay, smartly so, since I'm using remote desktop software, it wouldn't let me type in those characters remotely. I had to actually go over to the keyboard on the other computer and type in Spock. But once I've done, now it said you can rename your computer. So I renamed the computer to Spock, and now I'm going to restart. Now, this computer came preloaded with Microsoft Office, but it's the trial version, and it's not going to work with what I've got, which is the Microsoft 365 full subscription. So I've read online where you can try to install over the top of it by just re-downloading it and reinstalling it, but the best thing to do is to just simply remove it. Okay, so we're going to go uninstall. Okay, add or remove programs. We're going to find Microsoft Office, search this list, Office. There it is. All right, uninstall. I got the security warning pop up that doesn't show on the remote desktop software. Ready to uninstall? Say yes. It will do its thing. This takes a few minutes. I know it seems kind of silly to have to uninstall it in order just to reinstall it again. But I've tried before on other computers where it's got the demo version of Office, and you've got a full copy and you want to install yours, and it's just it doesn't work. I've had problems with it, and I did a quick Google search, and yeah, some people said you can try, but it doesn't always work. The best thing to do whenever you want to replace software is just to uninstall the old version and install the new one. So I'm going to let this go. Okay, next it says we're done installing. Uninstalling. Successfully moved Office. It's not required, but it's recommended that you reboot. I'm going to reboot anyways, just because there's some cleanup that it does on the restart. So I'm going to reboot, and I'll be right back. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to uninstall this installer here. This is their Office installer app. We're going to get rid of this guy too. Uninstall. Okay, and that's gone too. Let's do a quick reboot. You should notice now that I don't see Access on there or Excel anymore. All right, there's a whole bunch of other stuff I'm probably going to end up removing. I'll clue you in on what I do. But let's restart. Restart. Okay, now that I've cleaned up the demo version of Office that came with the computer, let's go to office.com. And one thing I'm going to do real quick is let's pin Chrome down here. Right-click. Pin to taskbar. That way it always stays right there. Okay. And let's come right up here. And yeah, I've got a custom toolbar here, which that's my stuff. Don't worry about that. I'll cover that in a different video, how to set that up. All the stuff I use on a regular basis is right here. Okay, office.com. See, and these guys with their browser wars, I'm telling you, each one, you open up Chrome, it tells you I'm not the default, switch me over to Edge. Microsoft's like, no, switch back over to... No thanks, I'm good. Okay, welcome to Office. You can sign in or get Office. Well, let's sign in. Now, sign in with whatever your account is that you have your Office through. Because I've got two different accounts. I've got the one that I actually have my Microsoft Office through, which is this one here you see on the screen. Then I've got my other one, which is my Microsoft/live.com account. It's different. I don't know how it's got set up that way initially, but it did. So yeah, you might have multiple logins. So make sure you use the right one that you have your Office subscription under. Okay, type your password in. And if this is your computer, no one else uses it, and you're confident that you don't have to worry about anyone else getting your stuff, you could stay signed in. Okay, here I am on the Office.com homepage, kind of. All right, I'm going to go over here to install Office. Premium Office apps. All right, the installer Office setup.exe downloads. All right, we're going to open this guy up. Again, Windows security pops up, and I have to go over to the other computer to do it. I can't do it remotely. Okay, it says please stay online while Office downloads. It's grabbing my stuff. That's the important one for me there, access. Okay, you should see this when it's done. You're all set. Office is installed now. Click Start to view your apps. All right, close this installer down. And we can shut down Chrome for now. All right, let's go back to the Start button. There's access. All right, Excel. Let's go to Excel. Okay, good. Looks good. Now, I got this message, which you might see, because I'm logged on to Windows as amacron@gmail.com. That other account that I showed you, that 599CD, okay, that's the one that I've got for my Office account. So I'm going to click here and say use a different account. All right, sign in. All right, it's this one. All these different accounts and passwords. So hard to keep track of. All right, password as always. Okay, took it. Now, this is just saying allow my organization to manage my device. In other words, the organization, meaning my company Amacron account for Office 365, I'm giving them permission, which is me, permission to manage this device. Okay, fine. Okay, registering it with the company and applying a policy, blah, blah, blah. All right. So official sounding. Okay, all set, successful, good, done. I'm pretty sure the rule is with any Microsoft 365 account, you get 3 or 5 devices that you can install it on. So this will be my third. Yeah, I just checked it was 5. All right, so hit accept. Now I'm going to take a step back to the installation screen here. If you want to change any options in your Microsoft Office install, go to other install options here. Right here, for example, it would have answered my question I had a few minutes ago. 5 PCs, tablets, or smartphones. I'm going to click on View Apps and Devices. Okay. Now, here is where you can change your bit version of Microsoft Office. Right down here, you could drop this down under Office here. You can see all the installs that you currently have of your Microsoft Office. I've got Server, Spock's the one I just set up. And then Workstation is the one I'm actually on. Yeah, it's still got Windows 8 on it, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It still works. It's the one I do all my recording on. And that's part of the reason why I still have 32-bit Office on this one. But I want to install 64-bit on this machine, on Spock. All right, so I'm going to hit install. I'm going to make sure you pick this. And you can also change your language over here if you want to as well. All right, I'm going to pick the 64-bit version and hit Install Office. All right, a different installer comes in. Hit Keep. All right, and then click on it. All right, the Windows security thing pops up. Say OK. And now it's installing Office again. And the reason why I say this is because, as like a dummy, I just installed 32-bit Office on the machine that I wanted to put 64 on. So I didn't record all of this to show you, but I uninstalled everything I just installed a moment ago because when I went to check it, it was 32-bit. So give it another second. Let 64-bit finish installing. Okay, and we're back. 64-bit Office is installed. How do I know? Start. Run any of the apps. Access is fine. Excel, whatever you want to run. All right, they're all the same. Go to Account. Okay, Subscription Product, Microsoft 365. Go to About Access or About Excel or whatever. All right, and then right there. Okay, 64-bit. So now I'm all set, and now I can start fixing some of the database problems that my Office 32-bit has been causing because a lot of my students now are running 64-bit Office and saying, "Hey, what's the problem here? My code's not working." I just got an email from someone today. I've been running this database that I got from you. That he built with one of my classes years ago. It's been running fine. They just upgraded their whole company to Office 365, and now database isn't working. So, and I haven't had 64-bit in my Office for the longest time because it hasn't been necessary. 32-bit is just fine for most people. I've got a whole article about it on my website. I'll put a link down below. You can go read it if you want to. Next thing I want to install is Google Drive. Now, Google Drive is basically another one of those cloud sharing services. They were one of the first, and that's why I've been using it forever, before Microsoft OneDrive. And I like Google Drive because you can access your files on any machine that you have or your phone or whatever, which is all of the services are like that. But Google Drive comes with a nice little app that you install on your computer, and it synchronizes whatever folders you want on your desktop with your cloud drive. Okay, so I can have my documents, my spreadsheets, the databases that I work on all in my Google Drive folder, and they'll all get copied around from PC to PC, and they'll be on my cloud as well. So if I want a Word document or a PDF that I have or a picture, it's all there, and it's all synchronized on multiple computers. And the synchronization thing is good because if any one of those drives die, it's like a backup. All right, your files are distributed amongst all your computers. Now, giant files, if you got a database that's 2 gigabytes, then no, don't do that. That's too big. But small stuff, it's great for. And I'm going to make a separate a separate video on how to use Google Drive to back up your Access stuff. You don't want to have big Access databases sitting in your Google Drive backup folder because it's every time it changes, you change one record in a table, and the Google Drive software tries to back up the whole thing. So that's bad. But you can make a nightly event, right, or every couple hours or whatever, where your database gets copied to the Google Drive folder, and then it gets backed up. So the actual one that you're working on isn't being changed. But let's install Google Drive. Let's go back to Chrome. And this is still up from the last thing here, so we can get rid of this. I'm still on Office here. Let's close that down. Here's my Google Drive button right there. Just go to drive.google.com. All right, here's the basic Drive interface, right? The Google Drive interface. You can create stuff right in here, right? You can create Google Docs and Sheets. Sheets is like Excel, Docs is like Word, and they're good for most things. I mean, Microsoft Office is still the standard, but for simple stuff, and it's free. I mean, you can't beat it. Okay, settings, get Drive for desktop. All right, scroll down here a bit. This is what I'm looking for, is backup and sync. All right, back up all your content to the cloud. Easily access your files in Google Drive and your photos. All right, hit download here. Okay, agree. We're going to keep that and then install it. Windows security should pop up here in a second. Yep, there it is. Okay, it's doing its thing. Install is complete. We can close that. Actually, I have to close it on the other machine. Okay, all your files at your fingertips, yada, yada, yada. Get started. Okay, got to sign in. Give it your good old password. Got the old 2-step verification thing. Pops up on my Android phone. I say, yes, that's me. There it goes. Okay, now it's going to say choose folders from your computer to continuously back up to Google Drive. All right, whatever files you modify in these folders will be saved up in the Google Drive. All right, click got it. All right, desktop, documents, pictures. Yeah, that's fine. You can pick subfolders and change things, whatever. Photo and video size, I go to high quality. Original quality saves it in full resolution. High quality, it reduces the resolution a bit, but it's basically gives you it's a reduced file size, and a lot of it's free. They're changing their policy. They used to do where photo uploads and video uploads were absolutely free. They didn't charge against your quota because you get so much space. By the way, I pay extra. I think it's $10 a month, or it's either 10 or $20 a month. Either way, it's worth it. I get 2 terabytes of data from Google Drive, and it's well worth it because you can start. 2 terabytes is a lot of stuff. Okay, and you don't got to worry about running out of hard drive space. All right. High quality, though, reduces your I mean, even at the lower resolution, they're still really good. Unless you're a professional photographer, you don't need to worry about saving original quality. It's still HD. Okay? Any photos that you have are going to go to Google Photos instead of your drive. All right, if you turn that off, then they'll go into your photo folder in your drive thing. Okay? Next. Now, the next step is what stuff that's up on the Google Drive on your cloud do you want to pull down to this machine? If, like, this is my training machine, so I don't need all that stuff on this computer. All right, because it's going to take up, I've got 200 gigabytes worth of stuff up there. And some of it's just temporary files. Some of it's, like, videos that I'm recording that I don't need to save. So I don't need that pulling down to this machine, too. So I'm going to click on sync only these folders. Right? Like this one here is not synced. It's 184 gigabytes worth of just junk. I don't need that one synced up here. I don't even know what's in my Alexa folder. My backup folder, yeah, I don't need that. You know, courses, documents, ebook purchases. I don't need all of this stuff. I'll turn that off. Financial stuff, maybe gold member downloads. That's gone now. You know, so go down and pick the stuff that you want on this computer because you can sync different stuff with your different computers. My server's got all of it. My other workstation machine's got most of it. This training PC, I probably don't even need most of this stuff here. I think I'm going to turn most of this off. Okay, just so I got something for class, I left on documents, which is where I store all my Word docs, presentations for my PowerPoint stuff, and spreadsheets for my Excel stuff. The rest of this stuff I don't need on this computer. All right, start. All right, installation complete. And there we go. Yeah, here's the message. I was telling you about that a minute ago. June 1st, 2021. All right, new uploads to Google Photos will count toward your account storage. Google used to give away the space for free, but not anymore. Okay, so first thing is you're going to get a Google Drive folder here in your desktop. That's okay, I'll leave that there. I'm going to clean some of this stuff up because, again, docs, sheets, and slides. All right, we can get rid of those. They're still on the system, remember. They're still in your start menu. Okay. This Chrome Remote Desktop, I'm going to leave it down here on the taskbar. Let's make sure it's pinned. All right, pin you to taskbar, but I don't need you on the desktop. I like to keep a clean desktop. Microsoft Edge is pinned. Don't need you there. Same thing with Chrome. You're pinned. Okay. And Google Drive. I like to keep Google Drive here. You know why? Because I work out of Google Drive all day long. So I like to have it wherever I can get to it. It's right. You can get to it from this thing too, the Explorer window. But if you open this guy up, you'll see the little icon there means it's syncing. And right down there, notice how that's kind of moving? Right? It's preparing. Click on that. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't do anything. Click, right click. All right, let it do its thing. It's preparing. Okay, as soon as Google Drive is done preparing, and the preparing can take a while the first time you run it, but it usually doesn't take this long. Click on this little icon here, and you'll see what's going on. All right, it'll show if something is copying. You can see I got some old files here I was copying. You can stop it. You can pause it. All right, I'm going to do a whole separate lesson on the Google Backup and Sync. Okay, but for now, just know that it's running. Okay, and if I come over here and open up my local Google Drive folder, you'll see this temp folder pop up from time to time. You can delete that if you want to. It's one of the things that Google uses to sync. All right, if you delete it, if you can delete it, you can delete it. All right, sometimes you can't. Sometimes it drops it there. All right, but there we go. It grabbed everything in my Google Drive folder, which includes some Google Sheets. I got this How to Publish on Amazon.pdf file, a snap here. All right, some other shortcuts to some different folders on my website, for example. But there's the 3 folders that I told it to grab. These are synced from my cloud now. So anything that I put in this folder or subfolders will get saved up to my Google Drive. All right, so that's Google Drive. It's a great tool. I love using it. And like I said, I got more lessons coming on that, especially with how to use it to back up access. One last thing I want to talk about as far as setting up a computer goes, and that's Windows Security and Windows Update. Now, Windows Update is something that's going to run on a regular basis. It's going to install any patches, bug fixes, security updates. You want to let these run. Okay? You can see right here, I haven't done it yet because it's a brand new machine. All right, so you get this little warning here. If you don't see that little warning there, you can, just go to your search bar, type in Update or Windows Update. All right, Windows Update settings. Okay, here's Windows Update. All right, device is missing important security fixes because I haven't updated it since I just bought it. So there's a bunch of stuff you can see here that needs to be updated. You can come down here. All right, you can schedule the restart if you want to schedule at a particular time. You can do the restart now. All right, you can pause updates if you don't want to be bothered for a while, but you really should install these as soon as you can. Like when you're leaving for the day, go in here, hit install updates. It'll let it do its thing. Okay. Again, I'll cover Windows Update in a lot more details in my full classes, but just for now, just keep in mind that you should be doing. A lot of people are like, oh, I ain't installing any updates. I don't want them breaking anything. Yeah, have they broken stuff with updates before? Yeah, it has happened. But trust me, the stuff they break is usually minor compared to what can be broken if you don't install the updates. Okay? While we're in here, let's take a look at Windows security. All right. Now, you might have seen a screen earlier that said I needed updated virus protection. That's because Windows Defender comes with Windows, and it's good enough. It's all you need. All right. Virus and threats, no action needed. It ran a scan in the background. See, 222. I can't talk today. 2/2/2021. That's today. All right. Took a minute, scan the whole computer. There's not much on here. Okay. But this will also automatically update itself. Let it. Okay. You don't need to worry about it. Just let it do its thing. All right. If you download a file from the internet, when it goes to your downloads folder, it should be scanned automatically. You can come in here and run a manual scan if you want to. But again, back in the old days, we always had to manually scan stuff. Nowadays, don't worry about it. Just be careful what you download. All right. Download stuff from trusted, reputable sources. I'm going to do a whole separate lesson on downloading stuff. I did one way back, like 2002 or 3. But the internet has changed so much since then. A lot of what we used to have to do, we don't have to do anymore. So I just wanted to point out where this was. You don't need McAfee and all that other crap. All right. So that's pretty much everything, folks. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today. I hope this was helpful to someone. Now, I'm going to be updating my full Windows courses for Windows 10. I'm going to be covering all the basics. I'm going to cover more advanced stuff that I haven't covered before, including networking and things like that. Here's the deal. For everyone that watched this entire video, because you got this far, right? I'm going to give a free copy of Windows Level 1-2. Obviously, it's going on YouTube and my website for free for everybody. But I'm also going to give you, since you watched this video, a free copy of Windows Level 2 as well as soon as it comes out. So you'll find a link down below in the links section, in the description below the video, that says sign up for free Windows 10 Beginner 1 and 2. That's for you for watching this video. All right, just sign up. No charge today whatsoever. No charge at all for this. It's a free offer. Okay. Windows Beginner 1, when it comes out, you'll see it. It'll be everywhere on YouTube and on my channel. Then when Level 2 comes out, I'm going to send you an email and say, hey, here's your free copy of Level 2. All right. So again, I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed. And feel free to check out my site, my channel, and drop some comments. Let me know. Thanks.